So I don't know what time it started because I never really looked at my phone because I didn't care. But I'm gonna guess somewhere around 2:30, I started hearing, things down there moving around, and like a very soft clicking noise, and it almost sounds, see if I can do it. You know how some people make that noise with their tongue, like, it almost sounded like that. It was just like a little clicking noise. And at first I kept telling myself, well, could it be like, like a pine cone or something falling out of the tree, or can it be something else? But it was moving around but it was moving slow, and it was walking slow. And I kept arguing with myself, is this like a dilla, an armadillo? You know how they make a lot of noise at night. And I listened real close because, like armadillos, they'll make like this little scrunching noise where they're rooting. It's like scrunch, 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 scrunch. And then they'll be quiet for a little while, and then they'll start doing it again. But this one, it was just like, instead of being like munch, 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 or whatever the dillas do, it was just like a one-time sound. It was like click. I don't know whether to call it a click or a pop. It was more like or something like that. But it was even softer than that. But it was moving around for a little while. And then, I know it sounds crazy, but I swear I heard it over there messing with your truck.
Yeah, I didn't know if you heard that too.
It was, but and no offense, Micah, but it was kind of hard to tell whether it was something over there messing with your truck or it was you snoring, because you were tossing and turning and snoring, and so it was kind of hard to discriminate between the two. But it sounded like something was kind of going over there and fidgeting with stuff very gently. And at one point in time, I thought I heard your cooler open.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Oh, all right. But your cooler, was it in the truck?
Yeah. I heard the
Yeah,
sound.
and it's up in the back.
I heard the sound of a cooler open.
Was it my cooler? Oh, so it was here. Was this here? Did you leave this up on top of this?
Yeah, I don't remember. I was wondering.
Because I know last night, remember I came over here right before we went to bed, and I got those 2 pieces of cheese. And I got them out of my cooler right here. There was nothing on top. So unless you put this on top of here this morning, because you were the first one to go to bed.
Yeah.
Unless you got up this morning and put
No, I've not been out of there.
I heard the cooler lid too.
But it sounded like your cooler. Is that how you left your cooler?
Yeah.
Looks like it. I don't think they can manipulate this. No, all my crap's still there.
But if you that, it was the sound of the cooler.
I thought I heard the lid come up.
Yeah, I know. It sounded like the lid. Yeah.
I don't know. But it was kind of hard to tell. And then it was like, and it was almost like there was 2 of them at one point. I keep arguing with myself thinking this was all my imagination, but it sounded like at one point there was one that was over here just kind of moving around, and then there was the one that was over here messing with his truck. And then whatever it was moved up here right beside my hammock, and I guess I'll point the camera there. There's my hammock, and whatever it was somewhere in this area, this general area, ridiculously close. And at that point, I was seriously regretting not having a round chambered in my Glock. It was like right in here. I've already looked for tracks. There's nothing. Or, well, nothing I could perceive. But when I chambered my Glock, I did it really, I guess you would say, with fervor. And I yelled, "Who's out there?" really loud. And as I was chambering my Glock and the action was sliding, I could hear whatever it was running bipedally this way, like to the road over here. And then I heard nothing else. And then Jeff said something. I don't remember what you said. Something like, "Are you okay?" or something. And I was like, and that's when I realized you were awake. And I didn't have a flashlight that was worth a crap. And I knew you had one. And that's when I yelled at you to shine your light over there. And I looked and I didn't see anything. I kind of felt better. And but anyway, at that point, things got real quiet for a little while. And then I kind of calmed down and settled down and adjusted my pillow and pulled my blanket up on me, because by this time, and I checked my phone at this point, it was 3:45 when all this was happening. And by 4 o'clock, I'd settled back down, pulled my blanket up over me, and was kind of getting cozy. And that's when I heard that noise that sounded like it came from down there. It sounded like I can't do it, but this is the closest. It was either a buh or a buh. Mm-hmm. Just a one time, not super loud, but there was a definite B sound in there, a buh. It was like a buh. And it was almost like somebody was standing down there and was just like, I don't know, voicing their disgust or something. But it wasn't like you hear everybody talk about on their encounters where it was bone shaking or anything. It was almost like a human was down there and went, "Buh." But it was a kind of a cross between a buh and a buh. I don't know. It was weird. But at that point, I stayed up even longer, and at that point, it seemed like it got quieter.
I think I may have heard the same noise, but to me, I was moving around a little bit when I heard it. I didn't get to distinguish it as much as you, but I would say it was probably, somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes after I turned my light off down there,
Well, and to me, that sound was like, I don't know, that was awesome. It was, the sound actually, I'll show you. The sound came from that valley down there. As you can see, my tent was my setup is right there, and Jeff's is right there. But yeah, it was down in there. It's pretty low down there. But I don't know, that messed with me pretty good. I didn't get much sleep last night, but I was listening.
Yeah, I lay there.
Yeah.
80% of the night listening to different.
Well, and when we first went I think I actually went to sleep for a little while. And then I think I woke up sometime we didn't go to bed till midnight, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was well after midnight.
It was well after midnight. So I think I fell asleep for maybe an hour and a half, and that's when the noises started waking me up. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the first things I noticed was how quiet it was. I remember last night we were commenting about how it was quiet, but it's quiet compared to northwestern Oklahoma where we're from, but it was still that you could still hear, the wind blowing, you could still hear the bugs and stuff, and you could still hear them frogs down there on the creek.
And the whippoorwills.
Yeah, and a lot of people got theories on that, because this was when a bird's chirp in the middle of the night, it makes you wonder. But that's an argument for another day that I'm really not that opinionated on.
It's interesting that you was talking about something kind of going back and forth, it was like I said. There was a couple times where I just finally just had fallen asleep of exhaustion because I'd been laying there just trying to listen to stuff. And, I wasn't worried or anything. It was
I was phasing in and out a little bit too.
It was just interesting to hear what all was going on at night out here.
Yeah.
And
well, and at
but I could
first,
hear-
I kept arguing with myself.
Yeah.
Am I hearing what I think I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Am I just imagining this? Because there wasn't like, it's real easy to focus in on a sound that continues to make its noise. But when it's a one-time, it's kind of like trying to pinpoint a gunshot. They say that, if you fire one shot, they can't triangulate you. You fire two shots, they're pinned in on you. They know where you're at. And it was just like, it would drop one little sound, and I'd be like, what was that? Where did that come from? It sounded like it kind of came from over there, but wasn't really, really sure. And then, of course, and then your ears are all tuned in, and they're ready, and then there's nothing. And so I kept arguing with myself mentally, am I really hearing? There's coffee in that coffee pot, Mike, if you want some.
Well, I was looking. I don't know if I brought mine. I was gonna make me some breakfast to eat. Anyway,
I've got my kettle in there. You talking about your kettle?
Well, I laid mine out. I don't remember if I brought it or not. But anyway.
Well, mine's up there.
That's all right.
Well, and I ain't gonna mind having some. I brought tea too, but
I know one of those times where I was kind of in and out. That
yeah.
I could remember something.
Well,
sounding like they were over here and something over here.
See, I never heard them
trying to figure out what it was
over there.
But
But
I didn't want to just.
and I
immediately say
figured that that over there would be where they would come from. I mean, we talked about this last night.
Yeah.
Where's the best cover, point of cover? But like I said, apparently it was walking down through this valley, through these old, these pre-felled, they've been in here logging before. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. But I just can't get over the fact. I mean, I try to play devil's advocate with myself because I know I'm. This is not where I'm from. These are not my woods. I do not know all the birds here. I do not know all the sounds here. I don't know all the critters here. And so, was I really hearing what I think I was hearing? But I'll tell you what, whatever it was over there by my hammock. After I racked a shell in the chamber, I could hear it running bipedally, and I would say borderline soft-footed. It didn't make a whole lot of noise, but I heard, and it was gone. And then it was almost like it ran just outside of camp and hunkered down.
But
And that's when I was wishing I had my FLIR in. Tonight, I'm sleeping with the FLIR.
And maybe sleep where your hammock's up so you can just look out. You can't see out now if you wanted to look out. To the
Oh, you
side.
talking about my tarp?
Yeah.
I can actually see decent, but yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll stick some sticks under there
But
and prop them up.
As you hear a lot of stories about the ones getting into the coolers. I mean,
Yeah.
And so
I even heard a story one time where this guy had a genius idea, and he went and got him a cooler, set it out, but he had it rigged up with a motion sensing camera, where when you open it up, it would take your picture.
well, that's what
I
was
don't think it
thinking.
worked, but
Do that and give a trail camera.
well, they see trail cameras. They see the infrared. I've heard they're coming up with some new trail cameras that don't operate off of infrared, but I don't think they're going to ever be cheap because the ones that we're using now that have the infrared, they work fine on regular game animals, and I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon or be able to afford it. So, but I don't know. That's what happened last night. I'm pretty sure they were in there messing with Micah's belongings in the back of his truck, because
I did wake up, and there was some rustling around going on, and in my mind, I listened. I mean, I listened a little bit, and in my mind, I thought, well, that's Brian getting up and going to the bathroom or something, and I just went back to sleep.
I did hear the cooler lid, just like you did.
I didn't.
That is so funny that you said that because, you know, when that cooler lid opens, it makes kind of that noise. But it's, yeah, I heard that plain as day, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's Micah's cooler. Of course, at the time, I thought it was still sitting on the ground over here.
Yeah, at first I thought it was. I was like, well, maybe he's still up, and you know, you're in that cooler, because I thought it's too quick. If it was something and we were here shining lights,
But
and
nothing
stuff,
was taken.
but,
At least not.
I
You know,
thought-
most of the
after all
time.
that action, it was too quick for something to come over here.
I mean, now granted, we didn't inventory what's in our coolers or anything, but you know, you would think that they would. Well, the bacon, you'd think they'd take the bacon. Well, maybe bacon's not a big option or a big issue for them because they've got so much wild pigs down here. But maybe they took something. They didn't take my cheese. They didn't take the eggs. You
I
think?
don't know. Let me go look again and see.
I don't know that they opened my cooler. My cooler's got that locking mechanism on it. You had like 2 packages of smoked sausage in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
They're all there.
No, they didn't. There was nothing missing.
You think that they would take something. How long was it? I wonder if I just cannot remember what the time frame was, Jeff, for that opening of the cooler, and then that's when all hell broke loose by my tarp. Was that about the same time? You think maybe that happened at the same time? Like I heard the hammock, or I heard the cooler open, and then that's when I heard the whatever it was make that noise right there by my hammock. Maybe they
Cooler
didn't
was
have.
Cooler was after that. All that.
Was it? See, I can't remember. I just remember hearing it.
That's why I didn't think a lot of much into it, because it was just right after we were out. I'm shining the light, you're standing up, so I go sit back down, and then I hear the cooler lid, and I'm thinking, well, you're up messing around or something.
Huh. That's highly unusual. Well, I guess that's that. It was. Oh man, that. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. When that thing made that noise, it was kind of like a pop. That scared the crap out of me because it was all up in my business, you know. It was definitely in my personal space. I will say this though. One thing I did notice that was very peculiar about the sound of it running away was, imagine in your head what a human sounds like running away. It was more like tap, 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 tap. But you know how like a 4-legged creature, it'll be clomp, 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 but fast.
Well, you can't. Elephants don't make noise when they're trampling through the forest because of the padding on their bottom of their feet, you know.
Really?
So it just makes sense that something like that would probably have some, padding
Well,
as well.
you know, on the Patterson Gimlin film, there's that one frame where you get a really good look at the bottom of her foot.
Yeah, where it like
does
that.
And there's like that's one of the big argument points on that is that your average human doesn't lift their foot up as they're walking normally high enough that you can see the bottom of their foot.
Yeah, we would do this, and it was like that.
Yeah, and she wasn't stepping over anything. that was just part of her normal gant. So maybe they run different too. You know. Anyway. Fruit of the gods.
Candy of meat.
Candy of meats. Yep.
See, that's a lot of bacon, you know.
I know. So, for those of you watching, the original plan was fry up a little bacon, throw in some eggs, make some breakfast burritos. But the people have spoken, and they have decided that we are going to eat bacon burritos. Cheese, tortilla, bacon. What do you think? Does this place look squatchy? This is impressively deep, dark woods. The sun is out and it's bright. Not in here. This place is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
We're getting into Jeep territory.
oh, this ain't. It'd be hard to get stuck on this. But yeah, that's cool. Woo!
I disagree. You can bog down in this real easy.
With a heavy skinny pedal, yeah. Just go easy.